So while we're waiting paint to dry, might as well start the next project here. So we've got a 4-camera recording system and monitoring system for when you're driving. It's wired, bought it off of Amazon, and let me flip you around and show you what we got here. So in the packaging we have the 7-inch screen. It looks like all the cameras connect to the screen. You've got the we have 3 of these almost like eyeball looking cameras with the wires. There's another one. I think that one has a little bit more wire. It says marked to the rear. There's a 3rd one. Looks like a power cord. Dash cam, and it looks like some more, mounting hardware for the cameras, and dash mounts, and a tool to be able to pry open the dash. The X7 4-channel dedicated truck DVR. So it has your instruction manual as well. So I'm going to open this stuff up, measure it, and see what we got. I was going to go with a wireless system, but the ones I saw didn't have the recording capability, and they were a little pricey. This one is wired, a little bit more secured, and it has the recording capability. And it just does a circle recording on a SD drive. So that was my interest in this unit. So let's actually unbox everything here and see how long these cables are. All right, here it is at first glance. We just connected it to make sure all the cameras are working. The quality is it's okay, good enough for monitoring traffic and things like that. When it comes to security, especially at night, I'm not 100% sure how good it's going to be. There's little arrows on each of these to indicate which is top. That's what these arrows are. The cameras themselves are a metal casing, which is nice. I thought they would be plastic. They seem substantial, which is good. There's 3 buttons on the side, and it looks like 2 slots for memory cards. Now the next step would be to mount it. We're going to do the front dash and mounting the screen, and then we're going to have to see what we can do about running the wires. The cables that come with it, they're in matrix, so this is 15 meters, which is roughly about 50 feet, if I did my math right. All the other cameras come with a 2 meter, which is roughly about 6 feet, 7 feet almost. So when I first initially got it, I thought I was going to put since this is a 30-foot coach, I was going to put the 2 sides and the rear one up on the roof, or up on the top, kind of pointing down and out. But I don't think that this side cameras have enough jumper. So what we're going to wind up doing is putting them low and on the side and the outside, kind of shooting down the side of the unit. So I'm hoping that the rear one will have enough to get up to the roof and all the way back to the back. And I'll be using, in this coach we do have solar, and there's already a chase that goes up to the roof through there, so I'll use an existing chase and just reseal. The tricky part would be to get from here to there, to the dash. I'm going to assume we'll probably shoot down here and come back underneath the floor maybe and up, or along the top here. So I'm thinking about putting the monitor over there where that cell phone mount is. So that's what we're shooting for. Alright, so I was able to find that this thing actually came with a remote, and it came with a little shortcut button thing, which is pretty cool, where you can hit a button and it goes to full screen or left or right. And this thing can be switched right side up or upside down. So I wanted to mount it right here, but I was concerned with screwing it into just a piece of foam, this insulation. So I took this cap off. It's just a decorative cap that hides this gap here. And I actually found that all of these screws that hold the sheet metal to the cab over was loose. Almost every single one of them here was loose and falling out. So I took the whole cover off and I tightened all those back up. And I'll be, it was fairly simple to pull this off, so I'll be keeping a close eye on this to make sure there's no water seepage through here and making sure they're not loosening up over time. But what I did is I've taken the valances and things over the windows off, and I was holding onto the wood just for scrap wood. So what I'm doing is I took a piece of the scrap wood and I shoved it in here, and I'm going to screw up through here and into this piece of wood. I don't want to get long screws because I don't want to penetrate this piece of metal. Just something long enough to hold that bracket. It's not very heavy. 4, 5, 6 screws. It has a place for 6 screws. I can screw it up there and hold that up. So that's what I'm going to do right now. All right, so we got the screen mounted. This was where the dome light was. It was glued up there, so when I popped it out, I broke the glue. So we'll probably be putting up a decorative piece of wood to hide this and then cover this hole and put a new dome light up. All the wires are run. I went and put this in here, but inside this gap, I loosened these 2 screws here to pull this out and ran 3 wires down this side, one of which is going here. It's going to be hidden underneath this. I'm probably going to tack it down, but it's going to be hidden underneath this mattress. And then 2 wires coming up, which I'm going to asphyxiate to the wall here to make it a little bit neater. We're going to be mounting a TV underneath here. It'll cover up these wires anyway. And I ran the power to the house batteries. There is that's what I'm doing right now. There's already a cigarette lighter outlet here that's hooked up to the house batteries, and these are wires from our solar coming in, and then the house battery is actually just below this area down underneath here. Getting some die-core before I make any holes into the ceiling or into the walls of the camper. I'm waiting to get some die-core so I can seal them up, but we're going to be drilling a small hole on the front cap on the walls, because the 2 cameras that feed this, that are going to look down the sides, are going to be mounted on the outside of both corners. That's what this wire is here. I ran it down this channel, and then again the mattress is going to cover it. And then the back one, like I already mentioned, is going to go up there and go and be mounted up in the roof in the very back. So all the extra wires and slack that we're going to get is going to be mounted. There's a big kind of a gap in here, and I'm going to keep all the extra slack right there. But that's a good location, out of the way. So we're driving. I can just quickly look up, glance up here to see the sides. There's the dash camera. Actually, I've already mounted that, and it just feeds right up in here, right to the back. And because I mounted the dash camera so close to the monitor, I have an extra 6 feet of jumper if I need it for anything. But that's how it's going. It's looking good. We took a metal drill bit. I don't know exactly what size, but the size we needed for the hole to push this wire through. It went straight in and into the bunk over. So this will be where we push the wire through. We'll mount the camera over this hole and seal it up with that die-core sealant that we bought, and we should be good to go. We'll do the same thing on the other side as well for the other side camera. And there it is, installed. Flush mounted. There's an opening for wire on this side. I just put a dab of this die-core in there just to seal that. It's sealed all up underneath anyway. I put in all 5 of the little set screws. I didn't tighten them down until I came in and I adjusted the camera. And as you can see, I can see, the car's parked next to the camper here, but I can see everything. So that's set right. Then do the same thing on the other side, and then the tricky part will be doing the one in the back. So just do that 2 more times, and then clean up the wiring, and should be done. All right, it's a little unconventional way to install this because I don't have a flat surface, but I went ahead and installed this bracket facing downward. This way I can kind of see, instead if I mounted it here, I wouldn't be able to see really what's behind the camper. So I'm mounting it downward. I am getting a couple of longer screws, stainless steel screws, to kind of at least attach the bottom side so this doesn't pull up. I did use the two-sided 3M sealant tape that goes underneath, and then I filled up all this with the die-core self-leveling caulking just to kind of fill the gap. I'll let this dry, and then I'll probably put another, because when it, it self-levels, so there's a gap. And I don't want the camera to shake, obviously. I don't want the wind to want to pull it up. So again, I'm going to put two, I'm going to have to get two stainless steel screws to go in the back side just to keep it straight. I'm not going to pull it down because I don't want to, deform the fiberglass cap here. But I'll screw it down to hold it in place, and then I'll just keep filling the end in here with some of the more the die core. I did run the wiring back with the clips that came with it. There's only 3 clips. Put one on each end and one in the middle, and then I zip tied it to the existing wiring that we had here for the solar panels. And I had to drill a new hole, and as you can see, I've sealed that hole with the die core, and we should be good to go. Here's the inside where the cables came through the ceiling. Again, it's sealed up on the outside. The camera is just run into the camera system, so that wire's already run. I do have some extra here. So all that extra is just going to be bundled up in one of these cabinets here. And here's the power for the camera system right here. It's another cigarette adapter, but this was installed. So. Okay, and the camera system is up and running. This little ugliness behind here, try to ignore that. I'm going to be getting doing some woodwork and putting a new dome light in and hiding that ugly hole. But all the cameras are, let me see if I can get this where there's no glare. All the cameras are up and running and installed. I still have to get SD cards for recording purposes, but they work without it as a live stream. You can see my doors open. There we go. The cool thing is it comes with this little switch here. If I want to, while I'm driving, see the left side camera only, I press that button and I get the left side. I press the blue button and I'll get the right side. And by pressing the same button again, whether it be the blue or the red, goes back to my all 4. I wish there was a way that I could just maybe hit both of them and get my rear, but it doesn't work that way. So I could just go to left and then back to all 4, and right to go back to all 4. There is a button on the side here. There's actually 3 buttons. If I press the bottom button here, it goes to my 2 sides. If I hit it again, it goes to front and rear. If I hit it a 3rd time, it goes to all 4. All right, and then there's a middle button here that I don't understand what it does. Maybe something when when I have SD cards, I can hit that button to record or save that file. And the up button doesn't seem to be doing anything either. Probably something for the SD cards as well. The remote, I can turn it on and off. Let me see if I can focus in on the remote here. I can turn on and off the display. You have the SOS and the record button. Again, probably something to do with the when you get the SD cards in. You have cam mode, and this will switch between right and left at the same time, front and rear at the same time, and back to all 4. You do have this where it says pre-on. When I find that if I hit this button, it actually brings it to my rear camera. This will be helpful when I'm trying to back into a site or obviously I need to see the back for any reason. But that's the only button that I can find to get the back only on. So if I hit it again, it goes back to all 4. the pre-off. Takes me to my right side and back, right side and back. And then we've got the menu, up, down, and OK. So in the menu settings, you have your camera. Obviously, if you navigate to that, you press OK, it'll just go take you back to your cameras. Back into the menu, we have the front and rear SD memory. It takes 2 SD cards. So the front and rear recordings, the side recordings. Here's your settings menu. If we navigate to settings here, and we press the OK button. Now the sensor is up here in the corner for this remote, so you really have to point in that area. Loop recording, 5 minutes. I'm a little disappointed in this. I thought maybe I could record for longer than that. This is just standard recording. Obviously, if you it has crash detection, so if it notices anything, it'll automatically record that moment and keep it on your hard drive. And then you have the record button on your remote control, and I'm sure one of these buttons on the sides does that as well. You can turn on and off the audio, which the microphone, as I'm assuming, built somewhere into the screen. You can turn automatic screen off. 1, 3, 5 minutes, or I actually set it for off. I'd like it to stay on. Panel rotate, in this case I had to do 180 because I mounted it upside down. You can turn off the beep sound. The G sensor is the sensor that will automatically record crash detection. You can change the date format, date input, time input, and then the volume. I don't know what the volume does, in all honesty. Maybe how loud it's going to play if you play a video. System reset, and then firmware version. That's basically what's in here. We go back to the main menu. SD, I can't show you that because I don't have an SD card installed in here. And then OK for this last one, which is just basically selecting the language. And then to get back to cameras, you go back to cameras. So that's it in a nutshell. The installation was fairly easy, fairly straightforward, just plug and play. Hardest part is to getting the wires where you need to. Again, I put my dash cam inside. You saw the, I'll actually just take you outside. The left and right cameras are mounted on my cab over and sealed, left and right. And then my rear, I ran along the roof. And mounted there in the back. So for the most part, this is a pretty good system. They have more expensive systems that have better quality in video for what I need. This just gives me standard VGA quality video. I think the next one up actually got you high definition or 720p or 1080p. The link for this will be in the description of this video. Also check out our website, rdrv.net. You can find our videos, map of where we've been, places we plan on going, and along with all of the videos on how-tos and products that we used, along with the products page to help you find what we use. So if you see anything that you like, just visit the website, rdrv.net, and go from there. Appreciate you guys watching. Make sure you like and subscribe, and we've got plenty of videos coming. I'm working on about 6 different videos at the same time right now with a bunch of different installs and projects going on in the camper. So a lot of content coming out if you haven't already noticed. But anyway, take care.